Let's start kneeling on our mat with our sit bones directly on top of our heels. Nice tall spine, slight tuck of the chin. And spread your knees as wide as the mat or whatever feels comfortable. Then with your sit bones glued to your heels, tiptoe your fingers to the top of the mat. Lay your forehead onto the mat and just breathe. Take an inhale, take an exhale. On the next inhale, keeping your sit bones glued to your mat, start tiptoeing your fingers over to the right side, placing your left hand on top of your right, breathing into that nice left hand stretch. Take an inhale here, exhale. Then on your next inhale, slowly walking back to center. Take a nice inhale, exhale. On your next inhale, walking your fingers over to the left hand side, placing your right hand over your left. Taking a couple breaths here, breathing into the right hand side of your body. Coming back to center. Taking a nice inhale as you really lengthen through the spine. And slowly coming up into a tabletop position. Doing some wrist exercises now. So moving your wrists to the side of the room, slowly rocking from side to side, keeping your palms glued to the mat. Just giving your wrists a nice stretch, then walking your fingers towards your thighs, rocking back and forth. Once again, keeping your palms glued to the mat, slow and controlled. Then placing one back of the hand, then the other. Once again, rocking from back and forth. Just very slow and controlled. Coming back into tabletop position. On your next inhale, reaching up with your right hand towards the ceiling, then threading your needle through your left, placing your right cheek onto the mat, then reaching up with your left hand and taking the bind, grabbing in your inner right thigh or shirt, whatever is available. And just breathing here into this nice shoulder stretch. And slowly unwinding, coming out the same way you came in. Onto the other side now. Inhale, reaching up with your left hand, reaching up towards the ceiling, and threading your hand through your right arm, placing your left cheek onto the mat, and taking the bind if you did so on the other side, breathing into a nice shoulder stretch. Taking a breath here. And on your next inhale, slowly unwinding, coming out the same way you came in. Come back into tabletop. Doing some cat-cows now. So on your next inhale, dip your belly towards the mat. Gaze just in front of you. Then tuck of the chin, coming into cat, arching your spine towards the ceiling. Going back into cow as you inhale. Exhale into cat. Broadening your shoulders as you come back into cow. Tuck of the tailbone, arching the spine into cat. Then doing some barrel rolls to loosen up the spine, some figure 8 movements. Going to the other side now, anti-clockwise. Just breathing with your movements. Then reestablishing your tabletop position. Inhale, reaching forward with your right hand and pushing back with your heel of your left. On your next inhale, reaching forward with your right hand. And then reaching back with your left heel, pushing your foot back, toes towards the earth. And then tuck elbow to knee, knee to forehead. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, extend. Really reaching forward, bending your left knee, reaching back with your left arm, coming into tiger pose. Engaging your core to keep your balance. Breathing and then slowly coming down, releasing your knee. Wiggling it out, then reaching forward with your left hand, reaching back with your right heel, and tuck. Inhale as you extend. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, really extend, then bending your right leg, grabbing hold with your left hand, coming into your tiger pose on the other side, engaging your core to keep your balance, maybe looking over your shoulder. Taking a breath here, then slowly releasing. Tucking the toes, really engaging your core as you lift your knees a couple inches off the mat. Heating up your core, then coming into a downward dog. Pedaling out your dog. Releasing your hamstrings, maybe rocking from side to side, shaking your hips. Then shortening your dog and grabbing hold with your right hand to your left ankle. Give yourself a nice stretch as you look under your left armpit. Breathing here. And slowly unwinding, left hand to right ankle. Really nice stretch, breathing into your stretch. Coming back into a downward dog. Slowly rocking forward into a high plank. And waving back into your downward dog. Waving forward again into your high plank. And we're waving back into your downward dog, really engaging your core. Coming back down into your high plank, holding here for a breath. And coming back into your downward dog. And tiptoeing your feet towards the top of the mat. Coming into nice forward fold, nice bend knees, grabbing opposite elbows, coming into ragdoll, rocking from side to side. Shaking your head, yes, shaking your head, no. Then releasing your hands towards the mat, coming into a halfway lift. Then releasing back into a forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Reverse swan dive into a standing position. Hands come down to heart center. Give your shoulders a nice roll on the back. Reverse swan dive back down to the mat, stepping your left foot back, then your right. Coming to a high plank, then releasing the knees, untucking the toes, thighs, belly, chest, one straight line. Then placing your elbows directly under your shoulders, coming to Sphinx pose. Really pushing your heart through the gates of your arms, stretching a nice back. Then engaging your core as you push on the backs of your feet, coming into a Sphinx plank, holding here for a breath. Then slowly releasing down, pushing your heart through the gates of your arms again, breathing. Coming back up into another plank. And then slowly releasing down. And placing your fingertips just under your shoulders, coming into baby cobra, and releasing down. Coming up into a full cobra, releasing down, tucking your toes, sit bones back to heels, raising your hips up, back into a downward dog. On your next inhale, raising your right foot up to the sky, bend your knee, drawing your knee through the midline, placing your foot right in between your palms, lower on the back knee, untucking your toes, coming up into a low crescent. Placing your palms back on the mat, then bringing your left foot to meet your right, then sweeping your fingertips from high to low, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, so you can get it lower. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, a little bit lower. Hands come to heart center, coming into a forward fold, stepping your left foot back, then your right, coming into a high plank. Lower the knees, untuck the toes, thighs, belly, chest, coming up into a cobra. Lowering back down, tucking your toes, coming back up into your downward dog. Inhale, lifting the left foot up to the sky, bend the knee, drawing it through the midline, placing your foot right in between the palms, untucking your toes, coming up into a low crescent moon onto your left side. Palms find the mat. Bring your right foot to meet your left. And then sweeping your hands from high to low, coming up into a chair pose. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, sweeping a bit lower. Inhale, lengthening, hands to prayer, diving back down to the mat. Stepping your left foot back, then your right, coming into a high plank. This time rocking forward a couple inches, coming into your chaturanga, lower halfway, coming up into up dog, and rolling back into your downward dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg, drawing the knee through the midline, placing right in between your palms. Lowering on the back knee, untucking your toe, coming into a low crescent. Then placing your palms onto the mat. Then lengthening your front leg. Flexing your toes so your toes are pointed towards your ceiling. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, folding over the leg. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding over the leg. Start then bringing a bend back into the knee. Planting down your palms, coming back up into a three-legged down dog. Maybe even take a three-legged vinyasa. Coming up into up dog. Then back into downward dog. Taking a breath in your downward dog. Inhale, lifting your left leg up to the sky. Drawing your knee through the midline, placing your foot right in between your palms, lowering on the back knee, untucking your toes, coming up into a low crescent. And placing your palms on either side of your foot. Lengthening through your left leg, flexing your toes so your toes are pointed towards the ceiling. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, folding over the leg. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding over. Then bring your bend back into the knee, planting your palms, coming back into a three-legged dog. And take a three-legged vinyasa if you did so on the other side. Stepping your left foot back, then your right, coming to a forward fold, then sweeping your hands from high to low, coming into Utkatasana chair pose. Lengthen your spine as you seep a bit lower. Inhale, lengthening. Then bring your hands to press center and twist. Bring your left elbow over your right knee. And gazing down at your right toe and stepping back with your left, coming into a twisted lunge. Maybe opening your arms from floor to ceiling. Maybe coming into a high twisted lunge. Maybe looking over your right shoulder, maybe placing your right hand onto your left hamstring. And maybe looking over your right shoulder. Oh. And taking your vinyasa and washing it all out. Then stepping back into a forward fold, sweeping back up into chair pose. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, seeping a bit lower. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, seeping a bit lower. Bring your hands to heart center, this time hooking your right elbow over your left knee. Gazing down, stepping back with your right foot, coming into twisted lunge on this side. Floor to ceiling if you did so on the other side. Coming up into a high twisted lunge, maybe placing your left hand onto your right hamstring if you did so on the other side, maybe looking over your left shoulder. Then coming out the same way you came in, coming back into a high lunge, placing your hands at either side of your foot, stepping back and washing it out with a vinyasa, coming to chaturanga, coming into up dog, coming back into downward dog. Bring your feet together in the back of your mat. Inhale, lifting your right leg, drawing your knee through the midline, placing your hands right between your palms, making sure your knee is directly over your ankle. Then swiveling on the back foot for heel to instep alignment, coming into your warrior two. Taking a breath into your warrior two. Making sure your hips are aligned in your shoulders. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, flipping your palm and reversing your warrior. Taking a breath into your reversed warrior. And your next inhale, coming back into your warrior two. Then interlacing your hands behind your back, giving your shoulders a nice roll. Engage your core as you bring your right shoulder into your right knee, bowing your crown of your head down toward the mat. Taking a breath here. Then really engage in core as you come back into warrior two. Cartwheeling your hands down, taking your vinyasa, coming down to your chaturanga, up dog, then rolling back into your downward dog. On your next inhale, lifting your left leg up to the sky, drawing the knee through the midline, placing it right in between your palms. Setting up for warrior two on this side, so we have heel to instep alignment, coming into your warrior two. Taking a breath here, making sure your hips and your shoulders are aligned to the left-hand side. Inhale, reaching forward, exhale, flipping the palm, and reversing your warrior. Taking a breath here. And coming back into your warrior two, interlacing your hands down, giving your shoulders a nice roll back as you bring your left shoulder in the inside of your left knee, bowing down to your humble warrior on this side. Taking a breath here, slowly coming back up, cartwheeling down, and taking your vinyasa to wash it all out. Coming down to chaturanga, rolling up into upward dog, and back into downward dog. Taking a breath here. Inhale, lifts the right leg up to the sky, drawing the knee through the midline, placing it right in between, setting up for warrior two again. Heel to instep alignment, cartwheeling up. And then straightening out your right leg. Reaching forward till you can't reach anymore, coming into Trikonasana triangle pose. Gaze could be right up at your left fingers if you have the balance. Breathing here. Then slowly coming back into your warrior two, cartwheeling down. And taking your vinyasa, coming back into high plank, chaturanga, upward dog, then downward dog. Straight on to the other side as we inhale, lifting the left leg up to the sky, draw knee through the midline, cartwheeling up into warrior two on this side, lengthening out the front leg, reaching forward, and gaze is just right up at your right fingertips. Taking a breath here. And then slowly coming back into your warrior two, cartwheeling down, Sliding back into downward dog, rolling forward into high plank, halfway down to chaturanga, to upward dog, and rolling back into your downward dog. Then inhale, lifting your right leg, drawing your knee through the midline, placing your right knee just below your right wrist. Checking over your left shoulder, making sure that left leg is straight before untucking your toes. Coming up with a tall spine, and then tiptoeing your fingers towards the front of the mat, folding over that left knee. Folding over that right knee, bowing down to your sleeping pigeon. Taking breaths here, starting to coming into your restorative poses, feeling the little micro movements happen inside. Just rest. Just trying to feel your body cool down. And then slowly coming out the same way you came in. Folding your leg, giving your knee a nice shake out. Bring that fresh blood back into your knee joint. Then starting on the other side, inhale, lifting your left leg. Bring your left knee just below your left wrist. Once again, making sure that right leg is straight before untucking your toe. Coming up with a tall spine before folding over that left knee. Coming into your sleeping pigeon on your left side. Once again, feeling the little micro movements happening inside your body with each breath. Starting to cool down your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Coming back to your breath. Slowly start to come out the same way you came in. Coming back into a three-legged dog, shaking on that knee, bringing the fresh blood back into your left knee joint. Then walking your feet between your palms, coming into a nice seated position, nice tall spine. Coming back to your breath, closing down your eyes, reaching hands up to the sky, bring your hands to heart center. Bowing your head down. Namaste.